Welcome to East Tennessee Pinball. Today I'm going to finish repairs and diagnose this Gottlieb Pioneer. So I've already done a lot of work. I didn't get it filmed on this one. This one started off, I mean, the playfield's already been cleaned. It's been touched up. It's been waxed. It's got all new it's got a new plastic set. It's got new rollover guides, new posts, new rubbers, new drop targets, and all new pop bumper caps. I mean, it's everything that's plastic that you're looking at is brand new. And it shows. I mean, and the playfield looks pretty decent. Jane did quite a few touch-ups. I'll see if I can find a picture of this before, and I'll stick it in right here. So this game had spent about a year sitting on the wall of misfit toys, sitting over here waiting for somebody to pay attention to it. Somebody did. They put down some money on it, so I went ahead and started fixing it up. That we didn't do anything to the side of this. Put a little bit of clear on it just because the paint would kind of like wash off on your hands. It was very unstable, so we cleared that a little bit. The front was just missing almost all the paint, so Jane taped it up and painted it. When she took the tape off, it pulled up some paint and kind of left it tattered. She was all upset. I was like, no, 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 that's perfect because that kind of matches the sides here, so it's less obvious it's been touched up. The head of it, the white, it was just horrible looking. I mean, normally I wouldn't mind too much, especially because it kind of matches this, but I mean, it was just mostly bare wood, so she repainted all that. The paint was there, so she left the blue and the red, just painted the kind of the white around it. I think it looks pretty good. So I've got, like I said, I've done most of this. I've got to, I guess I've got the pop bumpers reassembled too. Yeah, I don't know if I got the bottom of them put back together. Let me see. Yeah, so I've already put these back, took those apart, reassembled them. I've got the new bushings up here. Uh, so one kind of disastrous thing, I've never done this before, but it happened to me. I had this thing propped all the way up and I knocked it down and it fell down. Fortunately, it's just landed on that coil, smashed that coil. It's you see all those broken strands. So I got a new coil. That's one of the flipper coils. It also bashed up that socket right there on the bonus ladder. So to fix that, I just put a little single socket over here and wired it up. Took the ground off that one and stuck it over here and put the hot side and attached to this plate because this whole plate is hot. So repaired that from dropping it. Fortunately, I didn't have my head in the game when I did it. Like I said, I've already been through this game. I've gone through the switches. I've cleaned all the bonus units and stepper units and all that. I haven't really booted it up and played because, well, for one, there was that, and I didn't have any flippers either. So I've got all the rest of the parts. I'm gonna finish putting this thing together, and probably there will be some things that I'll have to diagnose. I don't know yet, but I'm going to find out after we get it together. Oh yeah, Jane LED'd this whole thing, so we get to see how those work and see if the lights are functioning. I bet there's some things that we'll have to diagnose. So we got that new coil in there and all soldered up, flipper mechs all put together. I've got it tightened up and adjusted. It's about even there. It might be a little high. We'll have to see how it plays. Got a little bit of travel in this dimension. You don't want it tight up there or it'll bind up. So I'm going to kind of go through this process of the way I do it anyway on this one here. Generally what I do is hold it with one side and first I get it adjusted to up and down motion first, and I usually just do that by hand. That's usually enough. It'll be hard to do with. And I'm using the same flipper. I've got new flipper bats, the plastic part, but that's just a shell. The metal post that's going through the center is the same one, so it's kind of got a divot. And you can, like Marco sells a little piece of plastic you stick in there. I had one time and it broke like the second time I used it. You can use a credit card. But you just want a little bit of travel such that it's not touching. As long as it's not touching, as long as you can knock it, you don't want a whole bunch of travel where it's like too low. It's especially, these are not so sensitive to having too much because there's a lot of distance. So if it's a little bit lower, it's not going to bind up. But some flipper mechs, if it's too low, even a little bit too low, when it goes in, it'll bind up like at this joint right here because the flipper link's really short. So you got to be careful of that. So anyway, first thing is I get the up and down, and once I get that tight, so let me tighten this real quick. Okay, so I got a little tight. I've got just a little bit of travel here. I didn't worry about where this is at because it's not very tight, so I can just twist it where I want it. Look down. As a first shot, I always just try to even it up with the shooter lane. A lot of games also will have little nails in here. You can use, in the basically the bottom of the flipper should sit like even with the nail. I don't necessarily use those. I'd rather have it roll off here straight on there. So that's kind of the way I line them up. And then I start tightening them. The issue with tightening is sometimes, especially if you're reusing the old flippers, the old posts have divots and it will try to go back into the old hole, regardless if it's right or wrong. Sometimes that's helpful because the old placement was pretty good. Sometimes it's not. So I just tightened that up a little bit and it didn't really move. So I probably got it in the same hole and the old hole was good. So I'm going to just, and basically what I'll do is go back and forth and kind of slowly tighten this up, especially if it's wanting to wander back to the old hole. I'll get this one tight, a little tight, and this one will hold this one while I'm tightening it. And I'll tighten this a little tighter and go back and forth, and each one will keep the other one from migrating as I tighten it. And sometimes that'll keep it from swapping over to a new hole, and I can get a new divot with these two that are fairly close to the old divot. This is not the case for this particular one. Okay, so I got both flippers tightened up. So you always want to check the end of stroke switch. That's this one here. And basically, when the flipper energizes, it opens that switch and goes from high power to low power. And that is a slightly wide gap, but more importantly, it opens a little bit on the early side. So I'm going to just, that's a little bit better. If it opens too early, you're basically losing potential power on your flippers. And see this one, so that side there, it's really not moving at all. Well, maybe barely. So it's touching, but it doesn't, you really need some pressure between the two of these because all the current's got to go through that switch. If you don't have good connectivity through that switch, see how this one, they both move, meaning when that's done, there's pressure between the two of them. So you've got to get that pressure, otherwise you won't have a good connection and your flippers will be a little lazy. Okay, adjusted that on a little bit more, so now you can see the other side is moving back and forth, so there's a little bit more pressure in there. So that should work better. Geez, I think I've got the flippers. I think I've got everything. We can try to boot this thing up and see what happens. So like I said, I've already gone through all the switches. I've gone through the units. Hopefully this thing will boot up. I just plugged it in, so I'm going to press the credit button. Nothing. Huh. Well, I've got 0 credits. I think I've already have not gone through the fuses. That could be an issue. Let me put some credits on it real quick. How about that? Okay, let's try it again. It seemed like it might have turned over one extra time before it kicked the ball out. Not absolutely positive. Before I go any further, let me get some rubbers and put them on here. And yeah, before I start flipping and break these brand new flippers. By the way, in case you didn't know, these are Gottlieb bats because this is Gottlieb Gabe. So the Gottliebs have all these ridges. They also take funny looking flipper rubbers. They're skinnier than the normal rubbers. They're the only ones that take these skinny ones. So I'm gonna throw this one there and I'm gonna launch this ball and we'll see what happens. Okay, I got my flipper rubbers installed. went to ball 2. Before I get too far, let me see if I can start a 2-player game. Okay, it says player 1, I'm gonna hit it again. Player 2, see if I can add a 3rd coin. So that's the problem. So my coin unit is not adjusted, and it's allowing me to put more quarters in. Not that big a deal for free play, but yeah, need some attention. So let's just do that real quick. Django, will you stop? I'm gonna look at my clock. I bet it's like 10:30. Yeah, I'm 30 minutes late, dude. I know, you gotta go. Okay, I'll take you first. So I was expecting there'd be a coin unit at the bottom of the game, and I looked, and there's not. So this one does things a little bit differently because it's only a 2-player game. So I started by finding the coil that subtracts credits. So that's the, let's see if I can find it here. Subtract replay unit coil. That's on 14E. So another 14E. Add a little more light here. There. No, that's subtract bonus. There. No. Let me come over here. 14E should be right. There it is. Subtract replay unit. So, 0 position replay unit, that's basically, if you've got credits on your machine, that'll be closed. If there's no credits, it'll be open. So that's closed. And then you've got V. So V, everything's coded on these things, is the replay button relay. And that's at 16E. So go down to 16E and look for V. There it is. So it can come in there a few different ways. That's one holding on itself. So that's probably not it. Yeah, that's driven by the coin chutes, so it's not that one. U, let's see what U is. U is the first ball relay. So that's basically once you score a switch. Huh, that could be it. So once you score a point, if you restart it, it'll take another game, but it'll restart the game. If that was stuck closed, that would do it. It might go through the whole sequence, but if the whole sequence is already done, maybe it didn't even try. I don't know. So it could be that, or it's the other path here. I'm thinking it's this path. So it'd be one of these that is supposed to open up after you put the second credit in, that's not opening up. So it would be one that looks closed and then opens up. So start over here, anti-cheat switch, not a problem. None of this stuff is going to open after the second AX. Probably not. That's what AX is labeled as. AX is a reset control relay. I wouldn't think so. Any of the AX, BX, and CXs they have such small throw. They're the little lock and interlock, and they're always suspicious. Replay button, that's the button we're pressing. W. I don't know what W is. W is the second shoot relay. We're not doing anything with the second shoot. I don't think. We use the credit button. Well, maybe that's supposed to open after it gets a second. We could maybe look at that after you put the second coin in or the second credit. That opens. I don't know. Replay unit anti-cheat switch. No, 0. That's basically it's got credits on the machine. And CX second player relay. That seems very promising, and also it's one of those lock and interlock, so it's prone. It just has such little travel. It's prone to being out of adjustment. So maybe we start with CX. Maybe take a look at U real quick too. I think I'll just real quick. I'll look at that first ball relay and make sure that is not closed at the beginning of the game. This is my U relay. I was just kind of starting to look at it here, right there, and check out that big old solder splash. See if y'all can get y'all focused in on it. So focus in on the wires. See, that is quite possibly a problem. Either way, it needs to be cleaned off of there. So I'm going to clean that off and see if that fixes our problem. Pulled that coil out so I could get at it better, and you can see how it's bridging some of those blades, like that one and that one are bridged across. So I'm going to clean that out, and we'll see what that is. Okay, so I got all that solder cleared out of there. I'm going to put the first player, there's second player, I'm going to hit it again. Nothing, it was just a solder splash. So yeah, just simple stuff. So I put all these, I was checking the CX also, didn't see anything with it, so it was that we'll put all these coils back in there, and we'll see what else we can find. Okay, I'm gonna crank this thing up again. Coin lockout is buzzing. Okay, let's boot it up here. Go to player 2. Not take another player. Okay, I'm just gonna play with my fingers here, I think. So we'll see what D does. I think these, okay, those like those two. Oh, and D and B are tied together. Probably we're on 3-ball, and that makes it easy. That'd be my guess. See what C does. C does that. Here's E. E does that, and A. And those are all doing 100 points apiece. So what the pop bumpers do, they're 1,000. So wait, these are 1,000, this is 100. Huh. Wouldn't have thought that, but that's the way it seems. That light is kind of flickering. That's what these do. Whoops, I knocked down a drop target. Yeah, those are 500 apiece. Not resetting. It's 10 point. Okay, we'll do these. Those are all working. See these other 10 points. So those are 500, I guess. All right, A, B, C, D, that probably is supposed to do something. Oh, that gave me my double bonus, I bet. And we're up to 13,000, so we should get another 26. So it should be 49. That worked. We've also got an extra, as soon as that came out, the double bonus came out and the extra ball was lit. I don't know if those are, see if that works. Okay, it gave us an extra ball. I'm going to drain out, and we got no bonus, so let me get some bonus. This is 500 adds bonus. And that gave me a bonus. So we've got 2,000. We should get a double bonus, so say 56. Did not give us a double bonus. Maybe that double bonus is only for that one, but it's not for this one. I just don't know. That would kind of make sense, maybe. I don't know. So we're on the same player shoots again. I'm just going to let this drain out. Does it take a 10 point? What does it take to turn that off? Well, that's a problem. So our shoot again light is not turning off. I'm gonna have to get a piece of paper and make a list because I've got a couple things. So I've got that that light is twinkly. Same player shoots again, it's not going out. My drop targets never came back up. I'm assuming that's a problem also. Okay, somehow or another we've lit the special, so let me see if that works. I heard the knocker, I wasn't watching the credit wheel. Probably did. See if this one gives us 500 in bonus. So we got this 2,000, and we got double. Well, we did have double bonus. Okay, we got the special lit again. So let me see if I get the credit goes up here. Yep, that did. Got extra ball. So now we're on double bone on the same player shoots again, and we got double bonus. So I'm going to see if we get the 4,000 for the saucer up there. So 64, if it's right, it did. So it appears that the double bonus is only for that saucer, but not when it drains out. What else? I think we've looked at everything else, so I guess we can't advance the game because the same player shoots again and the light is lit. So I'm just gonna reboot it. Okay, so I'm gonna go through and hit all these. That gives me an extra ball. Not exactly sure. Maybe that. Okay, I don't have the double bonus. Maybe the double bonus is. Extra ball must be a bonus ladder thing where it's on and off at certain points on the bonus ladder. I bet that's what they did. So I got the special, extra ball, now the double bonus. So I think the double bonus it seems like it's maybe both of those drop targets, but it's superseded maybe by the bonus ladder. Certain positions on the bonus ladder gives you an extra ball or a special. If maybe the other ones are set. I don't know. Maybe I'll just read the rules or might have to dig in the schematics to figure this out. So let me look at the rules here real quick and then we'll go. Okay, so it's kind of what I thought, but not exactly. Complete A, B, C, D, E. Lights hold occasionally for extra ball. When they say occasionally, it's something random, and it's almost surely the bonus ladder. So certain, like when the bonus ladder is at 3 and 7, it'll light the extra ball if A, B, C, D, E is down. Complete all the drop targets. Lights hold occasionally for double bonus. So same thing for the double bonus. The double bonus is lit occasionally, depending on the bonus ladder. And if you do both of them, A, B, C, D, E, and drop targets, you occasionally get special. So that's why this thing was, when I had everything done, I had A, B, C, D, E, and the drop targets down, those things bounced around. So it may be that the drop targets are not supposed to reset. I'll just have to look at the schematics, I guess, or watch a video online. Rollover button's 100 or 500 when lit. Bonus is scored upon completion of ball or in hole if lit for double bonus. So you only get the bonus in the saucer if it's lit for double bonus. So I don't quite understand what this says. Bonus is scored upon completion of ball in play. I understand that. Or in the hole if lit for double bonus. So it sounds like you only get that hole if the double bonus is lit. But then it says the hole scores 4 times indicated value if double bonus lights are lit. But you're not ever going to, the first part of that says you're not ever going to get it lit unless it has double bonus. So I don't quite understand what that means. I'm going to just reset it. I'm going to see what happens here, okay? We'll try to figure out what it's actually doing and see if we can kind of then interpret what this is. Okay, I'm going to add some bonus. So on these, it's if you just bend, I've already bent this when I put it in, I guess. Whoops, that's a little far. But push both these wires to the outside. The problem is they slip to the inside and get in the middle there, and they don't make contact. So, and I like using those type of sockets when there's room because they're much more secure than the ones that hold the 44 type bulbs. There we go. So that should be good. Scratch that one off. Drop targets don't reset. I'm gonna skip that for a second. Well, no, I'll do that right now. Drop targets don't reset. I guess I'm gonna look at the schematics because maybe they're supposed to stay down. I don't know. So the way these are organized, they've got the relays, and then they've got the sequence bank, which are more relays, and then they've got other coils. I'm looking for other coils. I'm looking for the coil that resets the drop targets. So they've got it labeled as a target bank reset coil, 17I. Jeez, I gotta get the code off of it. No, I don't. It's just labeled target bank reset coil. Here it is. Target bank reset. Motor 2C. Well, the motor's not starting, so it's S or U or P. S is the start, so it's not going to be the start. So it's going to be U is probably something else. It's not important. Yeah, that's the first ball relay. So it could be U. No, because it's working on startup, so we know that side's working. So it's probably P, because at the start of the game it resets. So we know that side's working. If it goes that way, so it's going this way. It's probably not working. So that means also that motor 2C switch right there. So it's probably P if it's a problem. So let's see what P is. P is the add player unit relay. Huh. Am I looking at the right place? I think I am. Yeah. So here's P in the game. And if I I don't know if I get it focused, if I hit it, it does go it, but you hit it's adding a player. So basically, I think what the schematics are trying to tell me is that those things don't reset, except for if you add a player or start a game. So that's the only two ways that thing gets energized. That's the start relay. That's add a player relay, or yeah, add those switches on the start relay and add a player relay. So that's it. Well, I was doing a little test playing, and I realized a couple more things. These lights back here, the score rails, so be clean. That whole bank of lights, they flicker on and off. So the power going to them. There it goes. See, it's got a bad connection up there somewhere, or could be somewhere else, but probably up there, I'm guessing. The other thing, I had a great game going. I mean, I had all the drop targets down. I had A, B, C, D, E spelled, and I was trying to get in that scoop, and I was nudging a little bit, playing about like this, and wham! I tilted. I was on ball 2. Watch what happens. It drains out. That's ball 1. Ball 2, I'm still tilted, so the tilt's not clearing. So that's another error. So I've got at least 2 more things. I also found these I got to put on there. The little coin acceptors, because it's missing them here. So 3 things more to do at least. Well, clean the score rails. Let's call it 4. And probably find a few more other things, but we'll see. There's a couple of different ways to attack this tilt problem. One is just open up the game and find the tilt relay. They're labeled. Actually, it's probably not labeled. It's probably the T relay. Yeah, it is the T relay. Find the T relay down there. Make sure everything's good on it. But there's the tilt, and there's probably something else that's releasing the tilt. So I'm going to go about, like, if you don't know anything, that tilt light is on the back box. That one right there. I'm going to find that in the schematics, see what controls it, and we'll just keep going down. So let me find the light bulb, the tilt light bulb. So there's the tilt light right there. And the only thing controlling it is not the tilt, but the H. So the H is probably the hold, or it's the tilt hold. See, that's the thing. There's a tilt. There's always usually 2 of them. There's tilt and the tilt hold. So the H is on. Probably the tilt. The tilt releases the H. So let's find what controls H. So the H is at 10E. So there's H right there. And see, the tilt controls it. So it's either the H or the T or something, you know, that T is not opening up. That T should open up. So let's find the T. Let's find the tilt. That should open up when it kicks out a new ball. The tilt relay is a 10E. So it should be right here next to it. It's right there. So this one, with the tilt, is a momentary. When it tilts it, that relay opens for a second, and this thing loses this one. Then this one opens up. So the question is, how does this thing get fired up? So if you start a new game, this resets. It doesn't reset from ball to ball. So that's out hole. So that would be the normal place you'd think it would be going from the out hole. It should reset after every ball. So I'm gonna look at the out hole relay, and in terms of colors, we're red and white on one side and red and black on the other. If I'm on the right lines. No. Red and white and red. Yeah, red and white, red and black on the out hole relay. So let's look at those, because that's going to close when it kicks the ball out. It should, and that should go through the tilt relay and fire the hold relay. Yeah, so I'm betting that's the problem. Red and white and red and black. So my out hole is right here, and red and white, there's red and black, looks like. Maybe. I don't see a red and white next to it. I don't know. The colors are always very hard for me to... That could be red and white. It could be red and yellow. That does look like red and black right there. Maybe that's red. That's... Yeah, that's it there. So it's the second one down right here. If I can get in here with the camera and do this all at the same time, I can't see anything. So anyway, I'm gonna do this off camera. I'm gonna check that second switch back there and make sure that it's making contact when that goes in. And I may even like short it with a screwdriver and see if I can get that tilt to reset. So I confirmed that was a problem. Then here's one thing I sometimes do. So I'm gonna tilt it first. Game's tilted. The ball would go through the out hole relay right here. Sometimes if you press with your finger, you can press it a little bit further than it's going to go normally. So if it's marginal, it will actually work. So I'm going to press that with my finger here.
I didn't see your truck.
And it reset it. So that switch just needs a little bit of adjustment. So that confirmed that to me. So here's that out hole relay. There's the red and black. And the red and white is this wire, but you can see it's jumpered to the, hard to tell. It's jumpered to the one right below the red and black. So it's this wire and this wire. It's basically those two contacts right there on the end of my index finger. And they are touching, but not quite well enough. So I'm gonna bend that bottom one up just a little bit, and I might clean those just a little bit, that pair of contacts, and I think that'll take care of it. So just check this out one more time. Getting booted up here. I'm gonna tilt it. There, we're tilted, and I'll click the out hole and see if it clears. Just press it with my finger. It's cleared. So that fixed that. I just adjusted the that switch I was pointing at a second ago. So I'll hook that back up, and we'll look at the flaky lights. Put on player one. So I messed around with this, and I was, it's not the individual sockets. They're very unlikely because they're all going dim or getting bright at the same time, so it's a power issue. Oh, there it went. So the power comes in on these things on this black wire right there. I tracked it down. It goes right in front of it. That all looks good. I think it's this Jones plug here. I'm not positive. See, I'm wiggling that Jones plug and I'm getting that behavior. I've cleaned these already, but this style, see those little, if I can get my finger, those little fins squeeze in on either side, and sometimes they just get sprung. So what I do is I get some needle nose pliers and I just squeeze both sides so they're sprung back in, so that they can make good contact when you put these in there. So I'm going to do that and just tighten those things up a little bit, and I think that'll take care of that light. I believe it will. So to get the top row of these, it's fairly easy. I just get them and I just do one side really. I just squeeze it a little like that so that that blade is sticking in there. Unfortunately, at the bottom, I can't see what I'm doing. I can't reach. I'm gonna have to get a pick or something. I guess I could take the head off, but even then, I'm still gonna have pretty limited access just through the hole. So I'm probably just gonna pick and put a little pressure with a pick and try to squeeze one side over a little bit and just get them a little tighter. So from the bottom, you can't see it, but I pushed it in like that and squeezed like that. So I did that all the way across. Couldn't see what I was doing, but I could just feel around when that pick got in there and just squeezed back a little bit. I think that'll take care of it. A little bit more play and we'll find out. So last, I'm going to take this plate off so I can put these little coin inserts in there. I don't have the labels for them. I might see if I can print something out. The Incognito website, they probably have some labels I could print. Be better than nothing. I'll see what I can do. But in any case, so this thing doesn't really fit quite right. It's kind of a jar. Part of it is like, so that's like a wood screw jammed in there, and it's not even tight. So anyway, I'm gonna get these two screws out and see about adjusting this, whatever adjustments I can make. Put some bulbs in there, and kind of, I want to first see if I can get it fit together a little bit better before I do the final assembly. So now that I got this off, I see why this was kind of sitting out too far. It's because this little tab has been jammed in there. So I'm going to get a screwdriver and pry behind there, see if I can get that tab to bend back out so that hole is further away from the face, and that will snug this thing up in there tighter. The other one looks fine, just had the wrong screw in there. And let me get a pry bar or something and bend that back out. So I tried prying that out and I just couldn't get it to come. So I took a different approach and I just wallered out that hole, extended it back instead of having that slot like the other one is. And that way when it's in there, I can get this all the way inserted and tighten it down with that bolt, and everything's going to line up. So that's good. I went ahead and unattached that so I get that bulb in there. This one, you see in there, it's completely mangled. So I'm going to have to solder on a new lamp holder for this. Just another pain in the butt, but it'll be better. So see if I've got something that'll approaching this size and get that soldered in there, and we'll get this thing fired up. So I got that new one soldered on there. Just went ahead and put some heat shrink on there so it was insulated. So, you know, one of these is attached. Nominally, it's attached to the common and not the hot side. But on an EM like this, there's all kinds of trace voltages. So it's best to keep everything insulated from the faceplate so there's no stray voltage, or less stray voltage anyway. Obviously the original ones had plastic wrapped around it, so I did the same. Okay, so that's way better than that. And that light doesn't stand out quite like a burning fire in person as it does with the camera. But I'd like to find the proper artwork. I'm not gonna be able to print translucent because I don't have that ability here in the shop, but maybe, I don't know, see what I can find on Incognito's site. maybe something better than this. So this is what I'm telling you about. So he's got the instruction cards for pretty much all the games. It's got a lot of other cards, like cards for the interior of the games. I'm assuming he'll have something that will be close to this one. They're organized by manufacturers. So I go to Gottlieb. I'll look for Frontier, or I could also look for the 4-player version of it. Don't see Frontier, maybe 1776. 4-player. I think that's the name of the game. Maybe it's not 1776. Let me look. It's the Spirit of 76. Okay. Let's go back over here, find Spirit of 76. See what we've got. Spirit of 76. So I just downloaded something. And it looks like it's just going to be the instruction card. Yeah, I've already got those. Yeah, this isn't going to seem good. Okay, sometimes at the top they'll have all the coin cards. Oh, second coin for double. 25-cent shoot adjustment. Sounds promising. No, that's those cards for the inside of the game. Okay. Well, let me dig around and see if I can find something. Okay, I found it. These are called coin cards. And I don't know what should I do? 25 cents one play? 25 cents. I kind of like this, just 25 cents. And all I'm going to be able to do is print on paper. So, maybe the black will be pretty opaque and the red will glow red. I don't know. Maybe I'll do something, do the 25 cent because it has basically going to have a low resolution going through this paper. So I want a very basic pattern, I'm thinking. So I'll print this one. I'll cut a couple of those 25 cents and see if that looks better than just plain empty. Oh, hell yeah, that looks better. What do you think, Jesse?
Looks good, man.
He's like, I didn't come in here to get, that's all washed out, but it actually doesn't look like that in person. It actually looks pretty decent. It's not perfect, but man, ideally those labels, you can buy them. Steve doesn't have them. I didn't even look on Marco's because this kind of stuff Marco would get from Steve almost for sure, especially being a Gottlieb. So they're potentially out there for sale, but not from Steve. So I thought I had this twinkling light problem fixed with the Jones plug. That wasn't actually it. It was still reacting, and so I'm gonna show you what I found in the schematic. So here's these player lights, first player and second player. So there's really not a whole lot involved. There's really just this let's label this P2C. That's kind of a score reel like thing in the back box. There's also the Q at the end of the game. So basically, if either one of these are closed, basically both lights can operate through either side of this. So this is a make or break. One side or the other is going to be open. So so what I did was I just started wiggling those reels. I'll show you which ones. That P2C, it refers to the stack back here. I said it's a score reel, so it's not exactly a score reel, but this thing is a step-up unit, and it's this one here. It said number 2, so I knew it was probably this one or this one, and just by wiggling it, you see how that light, and basically when it's all the way up, it goes back and forth, so between 1 and 2, and so basically that top one is turning off, I can do, and I'm just doing that with my finger by moving. If I get there, pressing on the bottom of that switch. So it's just not making good connection. It's really hard to see and do much with this. So I'm gonna take this whole plate off there, and so I get a better look at it. Even then, I'm still gonna have. No, I think I'll be able to see it pretty well. So let me take this whole plate off here. So I took off that one screw there where my index finger's at. This whole thing comes down. So then now you can see. And so as this thing rotates, it steps up. You see how those work. This third one is not closing all the way up when it's up. And I think We'll have to look on this P2C. I'll have to see what's on C. So they're probably like A, B, and C, or from the bottom up. I'm not sure. So it's C. So it's probably the very bottom or the very top. I can tell you right now, it's the very top one. It's that one right there that I'm moving. So when it's down, it's that. That's the problem. It's, let me get something I can point with. Oops, that one there. So it's that connection between that screw right there on the back side. When it's up, touching that one there, that's the player 2. And when that's down, it's player 1. So it's just that little face between those two is not making good contact. Let me zoom in, maybe you can see a little bit better. Yeah, that's better. That little face right there. And it's, so when it comes down, it's moving. See, both of them are moving, so it's making contact. I'm going to clean that a little bit and maybe bend that bottom one just a little bit so it makes a little bit better contact, and that'll probably take care of it. When I say clean it, I'm going to get a honing stick and clean it with a honing. So I got that switch cleaned up and just a little bit better, and the lights are stable now, so I got that fixed. I've got one more issue that I just noticed. This is kind of a weird one. So let me start up a 2-player here. Okay, so we're on a 2-player. So on pretty much all pinball games for a really long time, if you travel, a ball goes around and you don't score anything and it goes back into the trough, it stays on ball 1. I don't know, why is it saying that it's ball 1? Wow, I guess I wouldn't have to reboot it. Okay, let's restart the game. I was in the middle of the game or something. I don't know. Yeah, I was mucking around with that back one, so it wasn't right. Okay, I'm gonna do a 2-player. Okay, so now we got ball 1 showing. Okay, so do this again. Don't score anything. Throw this in here. It stays a ball 1. It's kind of like a real primitive ball save. If you got a really crappy ball, you don't hit anything, you get your ball back. Okay, and that's working on player 1. If I score a point, now it drains. Should go to. So I got my 1,000-point bonus, and now I'm player 2, ball 1. But watch this. I'm gonna just drop this down in here, not score any points. It advanced. I was playing my buddy Jesse the other day, and he had a really crappy ball. Oh my gosh, you saw that flicker? I didn't get it. Huh. Okay, well, we'll take care of that in a second. Maybe it's somewhere else. Maybe it's not that switch. Any case. Dang it, this is driving me crazy. So anyway, he had a really crappy ball drain, and he's like, "I didn't give me my ball back." And I was like, "Yeah, right." And he was like, "Look, it's 0." I was like, "Yeah, okay, you got me." So that first ball relay is responsible for that. So after you score a point, first ball relay pulls in, and only after that will it advance to the next player or to the next ball. It's working, but only for player 1, ball 1. So like on player 1 here, I'm not going to score points here. I'm going to just drop it. It advanced. It shouldn't have advanced. So player 1, ball 1's the only time it's working. So got to figure out why that is advancing when it shouldn't be. So I just picked up the play field. I found the first ball relay. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. It is already engaged. I haven't hit a point. So the problem is this is not resetting between balls. So that should, when it kicks out a new ball, sorry, do it again. That should release. And that way it's ready to not charge you a ball unless you hit a score. So I'm going to hit a score up here and you'll see that thing kick in. Well, if I get hit, I'm game over. Sorry, let me start up another game. Now I got no credits. Hold on a second. Okay, so I'm booted in, watching this first ball relay right there. I'm going to score a point. You're going to see that thing go in. Okay, went in. So now I'm going to hit the out hole switch, and that thing should pop out and kick out go out to the next ball. You heard it kick out the next ball, and then I hit the next switch to do it, and that thing never kicked back out. So that's a problem. So we got to go look at the schematics and find what releases the first ball relay. So the first thing to do is find the first ball relay here on the schematics, Zoom in a little bit. There we go. There's the first ball relay. So they're calling that U, and it's at location 10E. So we go to 10, scroll over. There's U. So that's our first ball relay. And so it's pulling in okay, and that U switch there, that's the switch on the relay that keeps it engaged. So once it clicks over, that one closes and keeps it closed. So basically what you have to do is stop the power so this will open up, and once it opens up, the relay opens, and that switch there opens, and it stays open. So you just got to momentarily stop power from going through this coil here. So, you know, there's several ways the power can go through here. You got to kind of make some educated guesses about it. So you want something that's kind of normally closed, that's going to open. Probably not the out hole. The H, that's just different paths to get in here. So kind of looking at this, it could be the AX could open up, or the motor 3C. I'm thinking maybe motor C3C because the motor's running when you do the out hole. So that's kind of my thought. It could be AX just because it's an AX and those things are always problematic. So I don't know which one of these it is, but I bet it's one or the other of them. So I'm just going to check both of them. I'm kind of leaning towards motor 3C, so I might check that first. So let's look at motor 3C and make sure that thing is opening up. And once we find it, you know, one thing we can do is put a business card or something in there and see, and just hold it open and see if that won't stay closed when it closes. Like if you score something that just closes for a second and then opens right back up, we could try something like that. So anyway, first we'll find motor 3C. So if you're trying to find motor 3C, there's 3, and C is equivalent with the deck of that turntable of the square motor. So it's the one that's even with that metal plate. So these things took me a long time to figure out. I always thought the switches were going like that, but the switches are actually coming like this. That little thing there is the cavity, and that's the plate the switches go to, and the switches are actually running. The switches are not shown on here. That's the plate the switches are mounted to, and the switches go like this. So kind of took me a long time to figure out that. I don't think they're drawn very plainly. So here is that, oops, here is that schematic of that. So you can kind of see, I used to always think that was the switch bank. That's not the switch, that's the hole, that little peninsula looking thing. That's that hole in the plate underneath there that you're looking at. And that thing right there is that plate right here that all those things are mounted to. So that is number 3 right there, and it's 3C, so it's one that's equivalent on the top of this. So it's one of these switches right here, 3C. So C is that level, 3 is, I don't know if it's the closest or the furthest, but we could also look at the colors and get it from that. So let me look at the color. So in 3C, one side is slate and black, so gray and really dark gray on this game. In 3C, sometimes you have to wade back to find a color. Red and white, and the white's gonna probably look pretty slate looking also. So red and white and gray and black. If you look on here, we're looking at, ooh, that looks like red and white, no, gray and black. That looks like gray and black right there. That looks very much like slate and black. That one right there. I'm gonna look off camera so I'm looking through my phone, I can't really see anything. Okay, so that's it. So it's that one there looks like red and yellow, that's red and white, and that's slate and black. So it's that bottom switch there. So if we look over here, it's, oh geez, if I call my phone, it's that switch there. So if I turn this game off so we can rotate this manually, we can see if that's opening. And sometimes it'll open, but it doesn't open up long enough for that other relay to pop loose without just reattaching real quick. So it needs to not only open it, but it needs to stay open for a certain amount of time. So I just turned off the game so I can manually rotate it this without it kicking over. So we'll see if that opens. Geez, that's pretty far open. I don't think that's our problem. if we wanted to, I don't think that's a problem. If I really wanted to check it further, I could stick a business card in there so that we're positive it's open and staying open and see if that fixes it. But that's pretty far open. I don't think that's it. So I'm thinking it's AX. So we're going to abandon this and go back to our schematics. Yeah, if I can find it here again. Okay, so we're going to go to AX. We're going to look at slate and black. And on the other side, again, red and white. Okay, slate and black and red and white on the AX. So I'm going to yank that out and look at it. Okay, so I believe I found it. There's my slate and black. And the red and white is this one right there, which is also jumping to the blue one. So it's that switch right there. And I believe that is opening up. Just barely, but if I, well, maybe it's not. I thought it was. If it's open, it's just barely open. Am I bridging? So, like I said before, I'm gonna just go get a business card and stick it in there and see if this is my offending switch. And if it is, I'll know this is the one that's the problem. I could probably just go ahead and adjust it, but for the sake of science, I'm gonna put a business card in there first. Okay, so I got the business card in there. I'm gonna first score a point. Look at my first ball relay, which is right there. Make sure that closes. It did. Now I'm gonna hit the out hole switch and make sure that opens. See if it does. It did. So the only thing I did was put this business card in there, and it actually looked like it was just barely open, but it was so barely, electricity was jumping. Excuse me, jumping across. So that just needs a little tiny tweak. The problem is AXBX relays, they're so low travel, and you adjust one and it kind of adjusts how far the whole thing moves, and you end up adjusting all of them. So it's a Pandora's box messing with them. But that one needs a little bit of adjustment, and that will fix this first ball relay. So after adjusting that AX relay, that did not fix it. The issue was that AX relay never opens during the sequence of the ball hitting the out-hole relay, and the out-hole relay opens, so that stays closed. But what I did learn basically is by forcing that open, that does open this, which means it's dependent on the current going through that switch. So my path is along here that is driving this thing to open. So it's something upstream from that AX. So it could be that R. Looks like it's maybe that R. Let's see what R is. R is the hold relay. Wouldn't think that would be activated. Let's look at the hold. So if it's not the R, the N and the M are the 100 point and 1,000 point, I think. Or the 10 and the 100 point relay. I don't think that's got anything to do with it. They've got the out hole, but that's normally open, so I'm a little confused how that would be an issue. Would be the point, but I'm kind of running out of things to look at. I don't see how that could be it. Seems like it'd have to be normally closed for that to be the culprit. And then you got the AX over here again, but again the AX is not operating. Maybe the problem is that the AX is the reset though. So I'm running out of things to look at. Maybe the hold, maybe like this make or break. Both of them are connected. That could be a problem where it's getting power that's just circumventing all this stuff. So I'm gonna look at the H. Actually, that's the tilt hold, not the hold. Yeah, the tilt hold relay. So I'm gonna look at that. So indeed, it was the tilt hold relay. It was this make or break switch. Well, I'm looking at the wrong thing. That switch right there. And it wasn't the switch maladjusted, it was up in this wire right here, the little tabs there, that was bent over, and that red and white one was touching the tab right beneath it. It was just bent over. So those solder tabs were touching above the switch. It was bent over like that. So I just bent it back, and that was a problem. So yeah. it's, you know, it just, and sometimes it's not the one you think it's going to be. I went through 3 or 4 different places, and you're left with what's left. And if it's not the obvious, then it's the unobvious. And this one was not what I thought it was going to be, but, you know, once I kind of, let me find my U, get a 10E, yeah. So basically, I went through all this stuff, and, well, no, it wasn't actually going through here. Basically, this one was closed all the time when it was supposed to be the other way, so it was circumventing all this stuff and going right through there. So none of this stuff was working. It was always getting power. So so that was that. I think it'll work. So I think everything, oh, except for my flaky light. I'm still gonna have to figure out what that is. It may still be that switch in the back that I was cleaned, and maybe I didn't clean it quite good enough, or maybe something else, another place where I'm missing it. So just off camera, I figured out what this flaky lights was. It was indeed that same little switch. I had cleaned them and I bent them just a little bit. I bent them a little bit more, and now they're really rock solid. I just wasn't aggressive enough. So I'm making good contact now. And I think I've got everything done with this. I'm on doing some more play testing. I'll probably do a gameplay video of this one, so watch for that in a few days or a week or so. And hope you like these videos. If you do, mash that like button and hit the subscribe button. And we'll see you on the next one. Adios.